And God help you if you're a torpedo man, you're never leaving the damn room.
Right.
You know, submarines don't carry that many top secret code books. And a fleet submarine is a good weapon of war, but it ain't a tug.
Yeah.
And so
that's why they couldn't get it out.
carry supplies for us, or we shoot your wife and kids.
What's up, guys? Cleveland's own Shark of Steel, USS Cod. This thing smells like diesel, socks, and coffee and adventure. We're gonna get into it. We're gonna uncover a Dutch submarine rescue, from hot bunking to a small galley the size of a walk-in closet where the cook is an acrobat and all at the same time. From the Pacific to the Great Lakes, I bring you the USS Cod. What's up, you guys? Matt Canzone with Canzonechronicles. I'm here with Paul Ferrace. He's going to give us an awesome tour on this awesome sub here in Cleveland, Ohio.
Did you say Canzone?
Canzone.
You're a paisan.
I'm a paisan.
It's Paolo Ferracci.
Get out of here. That's how you pronounce it?
Well, that's how my grandfather pronounced it.
Because it ends in an E. Yeah, I tell everybody the same thing. So I'm Canzone, technically, but here I just say Canzone.
And this would be Submarino Bacalao. Anyway, so welcome to Cod. It's right next door to the Coast Guard, where a contractor is driving new pilings. So that's the jackhammering you're going to hear intermittently. Cod, I believe, is the finest example of a World War II American fleet sub. We were built mid-war. She's Gato class. For the most part, hasn't really been modernized since World War II. I mean, a couple of things for her 1951 recommissioning, a little bit of upgrade in the electronic suites, but you know, she's, I would say 99.5% World War II.
And it's the only one like that in the U.S., right?
Right. We haven't cut any holes or anything into the pressure hull, so
completely intact.
You'll fit, no problem.
Part, thank God.
There'll be a little popping noise as I squeeze
We'll get some butter. We'll get some butter.
Anyway.
Got to get the U.S. out.
These boats were on the surface 95% of the time. You know, the American, well, all fleet subs, all non-nuclear boats, you know, before nuclear power, were really surface ships that could dive for a short period of time, limited primarily by battery, and then ultimately the amount of carbon dioxide building up in the hull.
Got it.
So 24 hours is your maximum that you want to stay down. But yeah, so these would just be submerged only as long as it took for the enemy to get out of Dodge.
So let's talk about the Gato class, because Gatos class, because that was like
the American fleet submarine shows up about 1934 with the Cachalot class. Then U.S. Navy had been trying to build a fleet submarine.
Were those diesel also then?
Oh, everything is diesel electric, yeah. So the Navy wanted to have submarines to help protect the battle fleet. You know, those battleships, the cruisers, and those newfangled aircraft carriers, whatever role they would play in a future war. They wanted submarines to be the scouts. So they would be with the fleet, hence the name fleet submarine. Well, unfortunately, starting from about World War I, the submarines could never keep up with the increasing speeds of the surface forces. The battleships of World War I were going about 22 knots. Submarines at best could do 14.
And that's above the water,
submarines, 14? Yeah, on the surface, right. Because remember, these are surface ships.
Right.
And then when things get scary, they're going to dive to avoid being seen and attacked.
And what would be the knots when they're underwater?
Well, I'm 1918. They're going probably 9 knots underwater and maybe 14, 15 knots on the surface. It's not fast enough to keep up with the fleet. And as the boats got better, the submarines got better and faster, but so did the surface fleet. So ultimately, they were never working with the fleet, but the name stuck. And they're pretty much like a Gato, with the exception of the fact they have one giant engine room, and somebody along the line said, you know, if that engine room floods, that boat is dead. Let's stretch the boat out 3, 4, 5 feet. Let's put a bulkhead in and have 2 engine rooms.
That's a good idea.
That way, any one of the 8 compartments now can flood, and we can still get back to the surface.
Seal it off and keep moving.
So that becomes the Gatos. Then we enter the war, and the Gatos and the Tambers are really the newest boats. You know, we're getting Gatos in every month. We're getting.
Are they using the same engine power plant?
Well, no, there's a whole bunch of variety of engine manufacturers. There's General Motors, ours are General Motors. There's Fairbanks Morris, and there is a third company, Hoover Owens Rentschler. They have a contract. They have licensing to build a German design. Well, I think the Germans were getting retribution on us because the HORs, the whores, were, as the name would imply, not something you'd want to marry yourself to.
Right.
So those boats built with HORs are having to be brought back into shipyards, rip out those pieces of crap, and then put in GMs. Cod was launched on March 21st, 43. The Navy has already been using since 42, December 42, the improved Baleos.
Okay.
So as soon as the contracts are met, we're clear on slip 4, then they lay down a Baleo class. But, you know, every boat is going to try to incorporate the latest battlefield lessons.
What's the significance of the 224?
Well, we were the 224th submarine authorized by Congress for the U.S. Navy.
Okay.
It has nothing to do with our construction, because there are boats with hull numbers in the 270 series that are a year in commission by the time we're launched.
Got it.
Go figure.
Yeah.
You know.
Okay.
So it's just a point of numerology that we're the lowest hull number, but there are boats like Drum 228 and Silverside's 236. They were the first. They're in commission a year or more.
What was the name of the lieutenant commander on the Cod?
Well, we had 3 during the war. We start out Dempsey, James C. Dempsey, or Jesus Christ Dempsey. He's a hard charger. He has command of an S-boat when the war breaks out, and he bags the first Japanese destroyer with S-37 without all the latest fire control systems and the radars. Nope. He does it old school, bags the first Japanese destroyer. So Bo Renfro is one of our crew. We have a junk alongside, and Bo is up here with a Browning automatic rifle. There are 5 guys on the junk kind of inspecting, and it's carrying Army equipment for the Japanese Army. And unfortunately, the radar isn't working perfectly. The guy spots the pip on the radar about the same time we physically have eyes on the aircraft, and he opens up, and so he's stitching the water and the boat with 50 cal. And Bo is standing here. There's a cameraman next to him over here. The cameraman actually has first eyes on the plane, and he's about to yell aircraft when it opens up and the bullets arrive. Bo, he jumped onto the junk with his BAR. The cameraman drops the still camera, but the movie camera is on a strap around his neck. He runs down the deck, vaults over the forward gun deck, over the Venturi, and he's the last man down, head first.
And as you can see down here with the red lines, Cod still bears a wound from World War II. Well, it wasn't pleasant, but this is how we get into the hull of the submarine. Because of this thing being completely intact, this is the only way in.
Board, folding, domestic, check, aboard. Somebody took it.
Torpedo tubes right there.
Our last patrol, which is June of 45 until August 2nd, 45, we got a sick crewman. Let's tell the whole story. We got a sick crewman. We don't know what's wrong with this guy, but he's getting worse by the hour. So the captain gets permission to break off the patrol and rush this guy to Subic Bay, which has been liberated, and we got a hospital ship there. So we're hauling ass across the north end of the South China Sea.
Above water at that point?
Yeah, always. Remember, 95%.
It's above water.
You're gonna go 10 miles an hour underwater and kill the battery in 1 hour. You can go 25 miles an hour on the surface as long as 116,000 gallons of diesel holds out, which is about 12,500 miles. So no, we're on the surface. Yes,
that's a lot. Wow.
We got radar and we've got intelligence. They'll say, hey, you know, you might intercept something.
Got it.
But anyway, no, we're hauling this guy, sick guy, across the South China Sea, and then the captain gets a countermanding order. Go to Lad Reef. It's kind of a little turn to the right. There's a Dutch boat stuck on a reef, render aid. I mean, real simple, you know, like an open-ended. So Cod arrives at Lad Reef on the evening of July 8th, and there's my handy submarine. There's the O-19 out of the water up on this coral reef, high and dry. And the Dutch captain said, hey, if you can, tomorrow morning at high tide, will you attempt to pull me free? And our captain, Edwin Westbrook, says, if I have air cover, okay. So we go out to deep water and wait for the night. Next morning we come in and there's an aircraft overhead. They pass a line and we begin what becomes 2 days of fruitless efforts to get this boat free. 2 days. And on the second day, when the last cable snaps, that seals the fate of the O-19. So we bring 55 Dutch submariners aboard, in addition to our largest crew of the war, 97 Americans, 55 Dutch. Take your shoes off. Let's add this up. 152 guys for 3 days
in this confined area.
Yeah.
Were they sleeping in the torpedo tubes?
But no. Well, you know what? They're submariners, so they know you don't bring the Sunday New York Times into the head or the toilet and say, I'm going to read all the book reviews.
Right.
Yeah, it was a little crowded. Speaking of the heads, it was a little crowded around the heads, the crew said, but otherwise it wasn't bad.
Yeah. So on that crew member that you were talking to, did he ever say how he got stuck? How that ever happened?
Oh yeah. In fact, it was the boat hit the reef because of the captain's excellent navigation. Actually, now the crux of it is Captain Jaap Dreefhout van Hoof. His name is longer than his submarine.
It's a period at the end of that name.
Yeah. They haven't been able to get star sightings. So normally navigation is done by the XO, the second in command. But Captain Dreefhout van Hoof, the O-19 skipper, says, hey, let me do the navigating. So that way I'll be responsible, because they're doing dead reckoning.
Okay.
Which is basically, I've gone 15 knots for 6 hours in this direction, then I went in this direction for 2 hours at 12 knots, and that's okay, but not perfect. But anyway, he's also got to, it was just the practice of all navies, you plotted your route of advance. In other words, I'm currently here, but your noonday position projected for the next day. Noonday for the next day, I'm going to be here. And you draw
assuming it's
line.
lineal.
Yeah, it's a very lineal.
Right.
You give this, because you need to go to sleep at some point.
Yeah.
So the officer of the deck is going to maintain that heading. But so what the Dutch captain does is he's not using the local detailed map. He's using a general area map. And he's drawing that blue line of advance, and it goes over what he believes is a ink flub in the printing. If he had used the general detailed map, he would have seen larger, version, that little ink flub is in fact Lad Reef, and his line went right over that. And at about 4:30 in the morning, boom, they hit. Lad Reef is sort of like a banana. It looks like the Amazon smile, and they hit it right in the middle of the reef and drove up on it. Anyway,
so are these the original hulls to the torpedoes?
These, well, you don't change. It's not like changing your underwear.
Gotta keep moving.
So yeah, okay, good. Yeah, we got to keep moving.
Okay.
So we these yellowhead Mark 14s. These are the torpedoes that were absolute crap for the first half of the war. And the yellowheads tell us they're exercise fish. So there's no explosives. There's water ballast. These are training torpedoes. You know what? Funny, that's what mostly exists in the Navy's historical inventory these days.
Are the practice rounds?
Yeah, because the boom boom ones got boom boomed, or some of our lucky sisters, they got them anyway.
Yeah.
But by the way, I have to say, for as bad as a torpedo the Mark 14 was for the first half of the war, once they corrected the problems, it became a very good torpedo, and in fact stays in Navy service into the 70s. So,
wow,
case closed.
That's impressive.
Yeah. So behind us is a Mark 18 electric, and this is not a yellowhead. So this is an electric torpedo, and it's introduced to the fleet in 43, basically to handle the one problem that the Mark 14 can't solve: the bubble trail created by the steam generator. That gives away your
an
position.
ID. It's an ID.
It gives away your position. So electric fish are weightless. So here's a Mark 18 electric, and it has a warhead.
So this has how many batteries would this have on it?
Well, a number of batteries, but it's one battery, how many cells?
Got it.
Just like COD, we have 2 batteries, forward and after battery, but total 252 cells.
What's the weight on something like this?
A little over 3,000 pounds.
You want to get one end, I'll get the other?
We have, well, you know, actually, when we have loaded this in and out many times, they move rather nicely. When, you know, you grease the skids and the rollers. But 6 tubes.
And the rollers are here are brass?
Yeah. The tubes are bronze.
Got it.
The rollers are probably bronze as well. But you know what? That's only important to scrappers. Are you a scrapper?
Right. Definitely not. No.
You better not be.
No.
So 6 tubes, 16 torpedoes.
But they say bronze is the metal of ages, I think, is a nickname.
Yeah,
for it.
well, it doesn't corrode.
Right, it doesn't corrode. Right.
You get a little patina. But yeah, so 16 torpedoes and 15 beds in here. This is a nice place to sleep. You know, the American Fleet Sub is known as a luxury boat because we have a separate room for the enlisted men to eat in and a separate room to sleep in. Foreign subs have a little fold-up table in here, like a picnic table, a skinny picnic table, and their enlisted men have to eat and sleep in here. It's property of the steward's mates.
Wow.
They did the ship's, the wardroom ironing and the uniforms for the officers. And if you've got somebody that needs surgery, this is going to be the extension for the wardroom surgery table.
Use what you have.
4 heads. This one up forward here, air expulsion head, just for use of these officers. And you can get yourself pretty well baptized if you don't follow the instructions properly. Hey,
is this the butler pantry?
You know what? Yes.
Honestly?
Yes, it's the pantry. Officer's
pantry. It's a butler's pantry.
It is a butler's pantry.
Wow.
Even though this is a naval ship combatant, it still has the appointments of a fine home.
Well, Paul, you even said this is a luxurious ship.
Right. So the galley is aft. All the food is cooked in the galley. The portions for the wardroom are brought up here by the steward's mates. Now, not everybody is going to be able to eat at one time. You know, the boat's always in operation. So 1/3 of the crew is asleep, 1/3 is on duty, 1/3 is available for meals.
Makes sense. And this diffuses a lot of the food traffic too, right? Because you can do smaller meal prep here.
Diffuse it? Were you a restaurant guy? I don't understand those terminology. You must have worked for Olive Garden, and that's a sin. So anyway, we got a refrigerator and a warming oven. So whoever can't eat at the time, their food's going to be hot or cold when they do get a chance to eat. Although they're eating the same food, but they're eating it off of nicer china. Wow. They're getting served.
Is that dated?
No, and I counted them. They're counted. But anyway,
is this silver? No, I'm just kidding.
No, that isn't. But there is. You get that ladle up there.
Yep.
There's a sample of the King Neptune pattern. This is the silver pattern they're using. It's a standard hotel pattern. Sure. And you know, there's a shortwave radio for entertainment, record player for entertainment. Does that look like a periscope?
It does not, but I don't know if it's non-existing or what.
That is. Get off the boat. Leave. Our 2 periscopes
is there
are
a
here.
Name for that? Is there
yes,
a name
it's
for
called
that?
Being stupid.
Should I walk the plank?
Yes, you're yes. Anyway, walking the plank.
You have to say stupido.
Stupido. Okay, so the periscopes are up there, but you know what? We're going to talk about it down here real quick.
Yeah.
So this room is, we keep it red, although it's only red when you're on the surface at night. Red light dilates your pupils so that you can see better when you go topside in the darkness.
And developing film.
No, this will fog film.
Okay.
I'm a photographer. It has to be just the right...
Of course you are.
Yes. So anyway, Christmas tree. The Christmas tree, that has to be all green. When the diving alarm goes off, it'll switch to all green. That means you're buttoned up, ready to dive. You dive the boat with the hydraulic manifold. 2 of the lookouts have dropped down here. They're manning the bow and stern plane stations. They're going to control the angle. Where's my submarine? My submarine.
Don't leave it.
They're going to control the angle of the dive. We don't want to dive with more than a 10-degree down angle. it'll slow down the dive. Cod could get under completely in 38 seconds.
Now, Paul, were there sensors on those hatches to light everything up green?
That's the bathythermograph. Yes, there are
There are
sensors. There are
sensors
readers on all
Got it.
hatches and doors.
That's really cool.
Yeah, and we're at Gato. That's a thin-skinned boat. So our test depth is 300 feet. Below that, you void the warranty. Oh my God, we voided the warranty.
Now, isn't Lake Erie 300 feet deep?
Only off
The deepest point, right?
Yeah, the deepest point off
Yeah.
Ashtabula. Yeah, so yeah, we bottom out probably at 60, 70 feet. Those valves right there, right here, bring the submarine to the surface. All right, now do an alarm test. Okay. Collision alarm. Nobody ever wants to hear collision. Got to close all the water tank doors. We can get back to the surface with one of our 8 compartments completely flooded, but only one, and it better not be this one.
Guys, we're behind the scenes of the USS Cod right now, and Paul's going to give us a little mini.
We're in the conning tower where everything pretty much works and is delicate. So right behind you is the main helm. That big steering wheel is where we steer the boat. The one down below is the auxiliary helm. Neither position allows the man at the helm to see where the hell the boat's going. He follows a compass repeater heading, yeah. And they're gonna call down, you know, direction, course changes through the hatch.
Got it.
Okay, night search radar periscope, optics only attack scope, sonar, surface search radar, the torpedo data computer, and the firing buttons for the torpedoes forward and the 4 tubes aft, the executioner's buttons, and the battle plot over there under the table, the DRT. So 11 men up here during an underwater attack. If we're attacking on the surface at night, 8 guys.
Got it.
The pizza resistance here, the cruise mess. So the galley, you saw the galley right there.
Yeah,
That's
right
where
there.
all the food for all the men is cooked. You got one cook at a time.
This thing is smaller than a walk-in closet.
Yeah, 4 tables. So 24 enlisted men are dining in here at a time. Now that's not the entire crew. So the first sitting is ongoing watch. The first meals are served to the guys who are going to be on duty for the next 4 hours. Then, as they clear out, you're supposed to be done eating in about 8-9 minutes. Then the off-coming watch is sitting for the second serving. Third sitting or serving is everybody else that's, you know, not really on such a tight schedule. There are 4.
That is my favorite room, guys. Right down there is my...
The room that goes boom.
And actually, I can see that's a World War II diving knife. I have one of those. Those are super rare.
I know.
Super rare.
That one's made out of wood.
Thank God for that.
We have Cod's diving knife. It's on display in the case. Yes, it's got inscribed Cod. Yeah, that was taken by one of the crewmen. God bless him for returning it.
Absolutely.
And that's where you put Japanese prisoners.
Okay. All right.
They're stripped naked, and the boom stuff is behind padlocked doors.
Got it. So they have no
So
access.
there is the refrigerator space. Right down in here. Right down there. Cold storage on 3 walls, and the door to the deep freeze is open. And, I once got into an argument with a British World War II historian who took issue with my blanket contention that the American submarine was the finest luxury liner of all the boats. And he said, well, you know, the British A-class had a small refrigeration system. I said, oh, that's nice. You know, a small refrigeration system. I said, here, let me show you this door, which is the answer to my argument. He said, well,
we call that
that's your refrigerator.
We call that a World War II pissing match.
Yeah, it was a World War II pissing match. So he said, well, okay, what's that? I said, that's the ice cube maker. And he paused for a moment and said, all right, you win. How about an LED flat screen?
Oh, wonderful. What's the vintage on that?
2017. Because we have to show people the color movies of our last War Patrol, but we can't have something that screams modern, so it's kind of hidden in this cabinet. This is the ice cream machine right here. That's the sign, but specially built for service on submarines. That is a museum-grade replica of one of our 252 battery cells.
I was gonna say look like a battery cell.
Yeah, and then of course this room, 36 bunks. But remember,
36.
1/3 of the crew is asleep, so 12 are going to be occupied.
And these would have been like toiletries and things like that in these bags here?
It's up to you. You want to put your clean underwear in there? You want to put your dirty underwear in there?
Got it.
The problem is if it's dirty, sweaty underwear, it's in an airtight bag for maybe a week before you can wash it. 2 toilets on the starboard side, 3 wash basins, a 2-man shower on the port side.
Now tell us about the Hollywoods.
Well, that's a Cold War thing.
That's a Cold War thing?
Yeah, it's
that didn't exist
on
in the
nuke boats that have big nuclear-powered steam kettles to, boil seawater, collect the steam. We have just electric. Well, they're always electric.
So it wasn't ever fresh water, so to speak?
You had freshwater showers on the Cod when the stills are working properly.
Got it.
Which was pretty much all the time because of
that's good,
Howard
yeah.
Doggy DeShong. The cooks got a shower every day because they're handling the food. Everyone else, a basin bath every day, PT&A, and then every 3rd day you get a Navy shower, which is wet down, turn it off, scrub up,
and then wet
rinse
down
off.
again, and you're done.
Yeah. Okay, but nuclear subs, if somebody, earns a perk, get a Hollywood shower.
Got it.
Not something these guys were doing.
Right. And they called it Hollywood because you'd be like famous to get that opportunity to have
Right.
that type of shower.
Right. These are the first 2 of our 4 mains. We have 5 diesels in total, but we have 4 GM 248 V16 diesels. They're 2-stroke.
Really?
Driving 1100 kilowatt DC generator.
What's the horsepower on something like this?
Well, it's not really important. They're 1600 horsepower, but remember, their job is to drive DC generators.
Got it. Okay.
The generators combined make almost 5 billion watts of DC power.
Oh, so these are dedicated then?
They're just making, making electricity.
Okay, got it.
Yeah, we do not have direct diesel drive. That's inefficient. We send that power to 4 electric motors. They are coupled to the 2 propeller shafts.
Because is it sort of storing energy then? Is that why?
No, they'll make electricity for immediate consumption. Some people make the mistake of thinking that these just charge batteries. No. That power can go directly to the propulsion, the motor bus.
Oh, okay.
And you can split it up. You can divvy up the power.
You can do it either way.
You can not either way, but you can do both. You can power the propulsion motors and charge batteries.
Wow.
So those are the stills. Each produces 1,000 gallons a day of distilled water. So about 400 gallons is going to go to your batteries. About 500 gallons for crew drinking consumption, but that leaves a generous amount for other purposes.
How many gallons?
2,000 a day when they're working properly. But see, we're on the surface most of the time.
Sure. Yeah.
So we can run all of our diesel generators. We can make a lot of power to boil steam, make steam. The problem is, in the 50s, 60s, you put snorkels on these boats. A snorkel is a breathing tube. You can only run 2 of your engines. So now we have 2/5 of our electrical capacity for a limited time. So you got to cut back on your power consumption. So you're only making enough water for the batteries, crew drinking. Of course, cooks always get that shower a day. So 2 more V16s. By the way, my crew returned all of our engines to working condition. So yeah, the 5th auxiliary, it's an 8-cylinder inline, 300 kilowatt generator under our feet. Little extra juice. Maneuvering room where all that electrical power is being routed to the batteries to recharge and to the motors below our feet for propulsion through the motor order telegraphs. This is how the captain sends his speed orders. Okay, and it's good to be an electrician on a fleet sub. You get a couch. So this is actually Pat posed for this when we were sculpting it. Those chiseled.
That's why it looks so good.
Yeah. I lie like a rug.
That's a real World War II diving knife. Super rare. And that belonged to the USS Cod. Amazing.
15 more bunks in the after room, 4 tubes, 8 torpedoes.
Now the scuttling bag would hold their...
the code books.
Got it.
Now, some scuttling bags are big enough to put him in. Well, his head would be out. Submarines don't carry that many top secret code books. So at least one, perhaps two of those. You throw your code books in there, cinch it, throw it overboard. 20-pound cylinder of concrete sewn into the bottom.
Okay.
Code books are printed on a special paper that basically turns to mush when it touches water.
Got it.
And some memorabilia from the 019 before we blew it up.
Oh, that's cool. It's the ship that got stuck. The Dutch ship.
That's the Dutch submarine.
Dutch submarines there, yeah.
And her rebuilders back. This is some stuff from the junks.
That's the Japanese flag they captured?
From a junk, yeah. Countermeasures ejector. The last 5 feet of an attack periscope. So you've got a foot of this coming above the water for no more than 5 seconds, and yet they still spotted the damn things.
Wow.
Painted pink because at first, early in the war, we thought the human eye can't see pink.
Oh, the reflection.
And then an early Cold War anti-submarine homing torpedo. That's a Mark 27 Mod 4 Cutie. The first torpedo that can sink an enemy submarine submerged.